Diane Warren, you wrote the song Applause from the film Tell It Like a Woman, which is an anthology of seven short films from women's points of view, women filmmakers. What were your thoughts
From
on
all over the
just the
world.
film from all over the world? Yeah. What were your thoughts on the film and how it brings together such a wide variety of voices?
I mean, it was amazing because these are seven, directors and actresses, and amazing women's stories from women all over the world. So, there's, so many countries and perspectives are represented here. In America, the American ones are with Jennifer Hudson, and Gail. Gail. Oh God, what's her name? I always forget her name. Anyways. Who are the actresses? Eva Longoria, and Catherine Hardwicke, and Taraji Henson, both behind the camera and in front of the camera, and all kinds of amazing directors and actresses that we might not know here, but they're like amazing, and they're like the superstars of in their countries. And the stories are just amazing, stories of women's stories from all over the world, yeah.
And Applause is featured in the segment Sharing a Ride. That's where we first hear the song. Did you write the song with that segment in mind, or were you writing it considering the whole film?
I was writing it considering, all the movies together, which is really different for me because, it's usually it's one movie and I'm tying it together emotionally at the end. And this was a movie that there were so many stories, but what I got from it was it's all about survival and the fact that these women went through so much, but yet managed to, survive and thrive. And I wanted to write a really empowering song, which is, give yourself some applause because you made it through. And then it actually fit that story, the Indian one, so well, and then they end up using it in there. So that was an extra added bonus, and it's a beautiful story. That one, that song really fit.
Yeah. And what do you think when you first saw that that sort of climactic scene in that film with the two characters in the rain,
Yeah.
and just how your song has the effect there?
It was just perfect. It just was. It felt like it was written for that scene when it was really written for the whole movie. But when I first saw it, I was like, oh my God, it's so emotional because it's such an emotional moment, and that song really captures it.
And how long was the process of writing the song? Like, what was your process?
It's what I do all the time. I just sit down and when I write a song for a movie, I try to just kind of just tie it together emotionally and see how it inspires me, and what was not difficult, but what was different because about this was how do you tie all these stories together with one song, and the theme I got from it was empowerment and strength and giving yourself some applause, giving yourself some love, giving yourself some respect because you've earned it, that these women everything they go through in all these movies, at the end of the day it's all about that. So my process was just getting inspired and writing it, to fit the entire movie really, and then it was an extra bonus that it fit that segment as well.
And the song is performed by Sophia Carson.
Yeah.
How did you come to work with her on it? What made her, do you think, so right for that song?
One thing about Sophia, Sophia and I, we talked about doing something together. And one thing about her is she is, if you look at her, she's stunningly beautiful. She's like, gorgeous. But what's even more beautiful is who she is and her heart and her strength. And, she's just an amazing young woman. And she's a great singer. Let's add that, because without that, I wouldn't have gone to her. But I just felt like she was when I do a song for a movie, I'm casting the character of that song to be a part of that movie, okay? So, like Sophia could have been one of those characters in those movies. She has that strength. She embodies what most of those movies are about, so it was just an easy call, and I talked to her about it. I go, I have something that I think, you need to hear and you need to do, and she loved it. She loved the song, and it's amazing to, to be on this journey, with her. And in fact, like a few weeks ago, it's what's really cool is when a song can live outside, first and foremost, of course, it it's for the movie. But if it gets a life outside of the movie, that's like an extra added bonus. And a few weeks ago, CNN, asked us to, well, asked really Sophia, I was just the piano player, asked us to do it, on the show on CNN Heroes, where the song was, basically acknowledging all these heroes. It was an honor of them. So that was just, it's a beautiful thing, when a song that you write can do that, because these people are true heroes. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the show, but it's like, so for that song to, fit so beautifully, in the movie and about women and empowerment, and then, have another life, it's great. That's what you want with a song.
And your songs in particular, you always write with these themes that can, reference something specific but feel universal.
Yeah.
So it really feels like you were almost made for a film that tells 7 different stories, because you're able to.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Because you want these songs to, to be as universal as possible. And this movie's literally universal, Yeah.
And you received an honorary Oscar recently, so I want to congratulate you on that.
You want to hear something funny?
Mm-hmm.
We were doing the vocal. I mean, it's just kind of ironic. Since we're talking about applause, Sophia was doing the vocal in my studio when I got the call from the Academy saying that I was getting the honorary Oscar. So here I'm doing a song about giving yourself some applause. I was like, oh, that's cool. I guess I'll give myself some applause for a second and then go back to beating myself up right after. But it's such an amazing honor. I mean, that's like the big Oscar. Like that's the one they give, like, all kinds of, if you look at the list of who's gotten that award, it's pretty mind-blowing. And they've never given it to a songwriter before. So I'm the first songwriter ever to have gotten that. So it'd be great. It'd be great. He told me he wants a friend. So so I'm trying to get one for him.
What was it like having Cher be the person who was there to present it to you? Was that especially meaningful?
It was amazing. Well, first of all, because I go way back with Cher, I've written, like, she's done 20 of my songs, including Turn Back Time, and You Haven't Seen the Last of Me, which won the Golden Globe, because that 11 years ago. But Cher doesn't do anything for anybody. She just doesn't. And she is notorious for never going west of the 405. And this was definitely west of the 405 to where the honorary Oscars were, the governor's awards were being held. So she was like my dream to give it to me, but I didn't think that would happen, but she did show up, and it was such a beautiful night. Like, that was the best night of my life. It's amazing.
And you mentioned giving your honorary Oscar some company, and of course you're on the short list for applause.
Yeah.
Does it still feel just as meaningful to get that recognition out of so many songs? Because you mentioned in your speech, 13 times you've been selected as one of a very small number of the best songs of the year. So is that still a thrill?
Yeah, what I said in my speech, I really came from the heart, and I said that, people go, what's it like to lose 13 times? And I go, like, no, I haven't lost 13 times. Are you kidding me? I've won 13 times, because there's only 5 songs. The Grammys have, I don't know how many song categories the Grammys have, but there's 20 or 30 of them. There's a lot. And the Academy Awards has only 5. And if you look at the names of the people who vote for you, they're the best of the best on the planet, of composers, songwriters, all that exist in right now. And so for them to pick 5 songs, and 13 times they've been my song, I do not look at that. I joke around, I'm a 13-time loser, but I'm a 13-time winner, and it's just as exciting. I stay up waiting all night for the nominations, whenever I'm on the short list, and I don't take it for granted. I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be in the club, to be, in play, really. It's great. Of course you want to be nominated, and that's the best feeling in the world, and then everything else is gravy. The nomination is the win to me.
And now that you have that honorary Oscar, where do you keep it? Did you have a spot that you'd designated for it if you were to get one at some point?
Yeah, well, I slept with him for a couple of nights, you know, and we're still kind of in our honeymoon phase, you know. He's on the piano now, you know, but, you know, I just look at him every day and I was like, wow, I have an Oscar. I mean, that is the coolest thing. It's the coolest thing.
Well, I want to congratulate you
Thank
again
you.
on that honorary Oscar,
Thank
and
you.
congratulations on Applause
Thank
from
you.
Tell Like a Woman. It's been a
Thank you.
pleasure talking with you about it.
Great talking to you as well.